someone look for in a trait with a venture capitalist? Say I'm a firm trying to raise some money. What are some of the things I should be looking at? What in your experience do you think is something that you should be looking for?
Well, I mean, I think if you imagine someone's got some kind of software or internet business, they should be thinking, what do we need to do to make this successful? Like, what needs to happen for this to be successful? What kind of people do we need to hire to work at our startup that will make it happen for us? What other companies do we want to do business with that will be our customers or our distribution partners, or just fit in like Lego pieces to make this thing work? And I think that it's important to surround a company with a network. The network around a company is your company. So Rick Marini getting those 20 people involved in his business as investors was solving problems for him. He needed people that were whales on Facebook. He needed people that had 1 million Twitter followers, not 29,000, 1 million. And he got that. And so every business is going to have a unique, set of needs. And so ultimately, what you want is to find a fit with one, and theoretically more than one, investment firm that can bring something to the table. So if I invest into a startup, I need to prove what I'm going to bring to the party that's not redundant with the other guys. If I can bring in and say, well, I've raised money from IKEA. They have 349 stores, and the smallest store has over $1 billion a year of revenue. We can get your product into IKEA stores. Or, we've got, a Hollywood group that manages, all these celebrities. If we can get them to start working with the startup, and it's good for the celebrity, it was good for the startup. So you have to bring something to justify yourself in a deal that everybody wants to be in. So I think that each CEO should just ask himself, what do I need? And how can I fill that missing gap?
Gotcha. Great information there. Hey, what's the toughest thing about raising venture capital if you're a firm? What do you think is one of the toughest things? What is one of the toughest things about raising venture capital if you're a firm?
Yeah, so I've been to some extent continuously raising venture capital funding in one shape or another for over 20 years. And I think that raising angel funding, raising a venture capital funding round, or even raising a venture capital fund, it's almost all the same thing. It's very hard to get the first lead investor. That's always, I've seen this movie end 1,000 times, and it's usually that. Oh, we're just looking for a lead investor. We have a lot of wimps that are ready to follow, but we don't have a lot of brave Vikings ready to jump into an empty swimming pool here. So it's finding that lead investor is difficult.
Gotcha.
I think.
Yeah.
And so I think, I try to show this in the book, you don't start with a humongous Sequoia-led big venture financing. You start by maybe giving a little bit of equity away to some advisors, and then, everybody knows somebody. So, get someone that loves you, that cares about you, that wants to help you, and get them to put a little bit of their money in, and then get that person to introduce you to someone they know. Then you meet the people that are known to that first guy, and then you get more money in the door, and then you get more value going with the business until it starts to appeal to the next level up. So you want to continually go up, up, up with increasing the valuation of the business and probably increasing the total dollar amount of financing, coming into the company. So it might look like you get $100,000 from an accelerator, or it might look like you do a $300,000 financing round with friends and family, followed by $1.5 million coming in from a lot of different angels. Maybe you're raising money on crowdfunding these days. And then you get some of these VCs are actually micro VCs, so they're almost like super angel funds. Some of them are participating, and these things are getting highly syndicated. So it's not unusual to have 10 or 30 different investors in the same financing round, you know?
Yep.
And then, you know, another thing is to try to network to investors. So try to go, you know, get onto a meetup or something and go find some networking events in Calgary or wherever you live and start meeting more and more and more people. Understand as best you can what the investment thesis is at the different VCs, so that you know when you're a fit or when you're not a fit.
I love the idea of the fact